Usually we ask. Thank you, Lucy. Um, and also just housekeeping on our end, Lindsay and Lucy, you can see if people need to be admitted, correct? And you could admit them. Okay, that's what I thought. We'll go ahead and introduce ourselves, and then if people feel comfortable, they can do the same. So I'm Celia. I'm one of the volunteer coordinators with Hunger Free America, and we have Lindsay and Lucy here too, if you guys want to introduce yourselves. I'm coming to you from Pittsburgh, by the way.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lindsay. I'm the director of the Strategic Volunteerism Programs team. Big welcome and thank you for joining us today. Particular shout out to Aisha who made this session possible and connected us with you all today. So thank you so much, Aisha, for all your help in making this event possible. Pass it over to Lucy.
Hi, I'm Lucy. I'm also on the volunteerism team and I'm calling in today from Providence.
Aisha, you want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Aisha Dixon. I'm the director of the UCLA Emeriti Retiree Relations Center. We've been around since 1969, and one of my huge goals and initiatives is to provide opportunities for our retired Bruin community to do civic engagement and volunteerism. And this is kind of a passion of mine to give back to those who are food insecure, and kind of aligns with our ERRC CARES program to help people know about the different services and opportunities globally and more locally in Los Angeles to be able to contribute and donate to those out there. So thanks for having us. I'm glad we can record this, and it'll be great to learn more about how people can volunteer.
Yes, awesome. Thank you. And anyone else, you're free to unmute yourself, introduce yourself, let us know where you're coming from. And also, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can certainly put it in the chat as well. But we welcome everybody here.
I recognize some names, so I know with this group, they'll more likely chat and they can ask questions there. Again, if you've registered for this Zoom, which you have, I will send you a follow-up email with all the resources that are available through Hunger Free America and how we can work together more in the future.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to skip that part. So we'll talk a little bit about Hunger Free America and who we are, and then about the volunteer opportunities that we have available. So we are a national nonprofit organization, and our focus is about policy, focusing on policy change and needing to end domestic hunger and to ensure that everyone has sufficient access to nutritious food. And we do that by focusing on 3 pillars: advocacy, citizen engagement, and easing and improving access. We focus on these 3 initiative missions using several different types of initiatives. And I'm just going to give you an overview of those initiatives. National Hunger Hotline, if you're not aware, it's an 800 number that people can call to find out what benefits are available to them in their area, or if they're eligible for certain benefits as well. People can go online to use this resource, and we have the Hunger Hotline so that people that don't have internet or don't have access to a computer can just make a phone call. And our team, we have a department that takes those calls and directs them. So they may be needing a food pantry in their area or hot meal in their area, or also needing to know if they are eligible for certain benefits. They can actually go, so we can direct them to offices in their area so that they can get assistance to find out if they are eligible. So that's our big initiative, is a National Hunger Hotline. We also have a virtual event that we do that supports this National Hunger Hotline that I'll talk about in a minute. Then we have our team, the Strategic Volunteerism team. We are wrapping up this senior volunteer program. We have 1 more month left of this program. It was an initiative with AmeriCorps, and that was where we are focusing on matching adults 55 and older with nonprofit organizations. Again, talk a little bit more about that program in depth in a little bit. But in addition to that program, we also have a student program for college students. And then in general, we are matching volunteers with our nonprofit partners across the country so that the nonprofit partners have enough volunteers to get their work done and also work on the mission that we have of ending hunger. Again, I mentioned advocacy, research, and policy. We conduct our own research, which helps us to understand the needs out there and then helps us to advocate for the change in the policies that are needed to support food justice and equity. And then I mentioned the benefit access. That's the team that takes those calls from the National Hunger Hotline. And also we have an office in New York City where they see people, help them to determine if they're eligible for what services that are out there. And then we have AmeriCorps Vistas. Vistas are members that are working with our nonprofit partners across the country. They're the frontline workers in those nonprofit organizations that we've partnered with. And then our child nutrition department, we focus here on ensuring that all children have access to healthy food, nutritious food, as we mentioned before, and also culturally appropriate foods. Oftentimes that may not be something that's considered important or necessary, and that's our focus also, is to make sure that people have the types of foods that they are familiar with and desire. Some of the statistics we want to share with you that this department has been able to do from 2019 to 2023. WIC stands for Women, Infant, and Children. So we have a WIC team, and that team has informed over 35,000 members of the program. They've been able to screen over 9,000 people to show that they're eligible for the WIC benefits. And then they've been able to confirm over 6,000 participants were actually enrolled in the program. So doing significant work there in that department, and we're really proud of that work. Then we have Hunger Free New York City. That's directly in New York City. We have several programs. One of them is that benefit access department is there. We have New York City guides to food and assistance. We have a food action board, and during COVID, we were very active in getting resources out to people in need. And then our annual Martin Luther King Serve-a-thon. This is a big event for us. It's a long weekend where we are able to connect people to do service work and big, different opportunities throughout the country. But we also offer educational things online, workshops, things like that. We have panel discussions. So it's a big weekend. We're always looking to connect with people and connect volunteers with different organizations that weekend, virtually and in person. And then I mentioned the Food Action Board in New York City. This is members of the community that have lived experience of food insecurity. And we work with them to advocate for the policies that will help to fight hunger in those communities. So food insecurity, if you're not sure, typically what I think comes to mind when you think of food insecurity is not knowing where your next meal is going to come from, maybe your meals for the week or for the month. It is defined by a household level economic and social condition of limited or uncertain access to adequate food. And recently, the Census Bureau shared these statistics that are pretty significant and, support the need for our work. Over a 1-week period of time, the number of people that said that they didn't have enough food to eat in a week increased by 52%. When we break that down to people, that's 18 million people, just 27 million people from August of 2021, that's when the pandemic aid was at its highest, and through August of 2023, when most of that aid had ended by then. Significant numbers, staggering numbers, sadly, but this is where our work comes in. This is where you come in, where you can help us and join our mission to end hunger. So as I mentioned, the Senior Volunteer Program is a partnership with AmeriCorps. It is the piece of it that's ending in a month is the piece of the reimbursement. So we had an option, we still do have an option for reimbursement for mileage. But we aren't going anywhere. We don't want our volunteers to go anywhere. We're still recruiting. We will always be recruiting. That's our goal. So we are connecting individuals 55 and older with nonprofits across the country. We have opportunities locally. So if it's in person that you're looking for, we have those opportunities. If it's something more skilled based that you want to do remotely, we have those opportunities as well. And the benefits are that we have a lot of opportunities that are listed, especially those skill-based opportunities that you wouldn't see otherwise. So it's been really exciting to match professionals with maybe the skills that they use during their professional careers and help them match with a nonprofit organization where they can support them. And then your responsibility is very minimal. We'll show you what you're going to do. You're going to fill out an account and you're going to research and see what opportunity is going to match you. And then after that, once you're volunteering, you just need to submit your monthly volunteer hours. And that's only for the next month with this senior volunteer program. And especially if you are wanting to be eligible for the mileage reimbursement, it's just a couple of forms. It's really easy. So very minimal on your part. Really, the only responsibility you have is the volunteer work that you're eager to do. So these are some of the categories that we have available. You think usually volunteer work is direct service. We have that. We have the food delivery, food prep, community gardening, things like that. But then outside the box thinking a little bit is, maybe you have experience doing research or you enjoy doing research. Marketing, administrative support, accounting. So really anything that you can think of, nonprofits probably need it. And we have a lot of opportunities listed on our portal. Here's a list of just a handful of some of our organizations. We have a lot more. And then this data verification event, this is tied to that hunger hotline that I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation. So what we do is on a regular, so people that are calling in looking for services, our staff give them resources for their area. So our job with the data verification is to make sure that those resources that we're providing, sending out to people that are calling, is that information is correct. We have the phone number right, we have the hours right, the location right, the type of services they provide is accurate. Because as you can imagine, making that phone call looking for services is very stressful. And we want to make sure that we don't increase any stress for anybody and that the information we're providing them is accurate. So during this event, we host it on the second Friday of each month. We call it Friday for Good. And we come together as a group and we give you a short training on how you're going to fill out this form, and you're going to make phone calls to an organization that pops up. So the form looks just like this. This is an example of an organization, their phone number. You make a phone call, you ask them questions, you fill out the form online. And then this is an ongoing project for us because we want to always make sure that the data that we're providing people is accurate. So like I said, we meet the second Friday of each month to do this as a group. And once you do it and get the training, you can do this at any time. So you can do it for 15 minutes, an hour, however long you want to do it at your, any time that works for you. So we have a lot of people that are working on this project, either join us as a group, work individually, and it's really helpful. It really makes a difference, and it really helps us to keep that database up to date. And then this is what our portal looks like. So you're going to get the link in the email to get to this portal, and you're going to create an account for yourself. And then you're going to say you type in a keyword, maybe you want to do food delivery. And then location type is a drop down. So if you have your area, you put in your zip code. I think the drop down for in-person work is address, and then you would put your zip code. And then, your opportunities are going to pop up here. If you see an opportunity, you want to read more about it, you just click on it. And once you click on it, then you would express interest, and then you'll get connected to that nonprofit. That nonprofit then reaches out to you via email. You have a conversation with them. If it seems like a match for both of you, then we get notified and we send you an enrollment form, and then you begin volunteering. So it's very easy. If you are looking for virtual work, you are going to put in for location type, you're going to hit the drop down box and it says virtual. And then you just, search, find, and then any of say you're looking for grant research, you just put that in the keyword and virtual, and then a bunch of opportunities will show up. So this is very easy to maneuver. Again, we provide all the information. We're here to support you. And here's a list of opportunities that we have currently in California. The links to these specific events on that portal will also be included in the email, so it'll be easy to get to. But we just wanted to highlight these so that you would know these are the in-person direct service opportunities that we currently have. So as I mentioned, we're going to send out an email. I guess Aisha, you can let me know if you just want me to send it to you and you'll forward it, or because people that registered here will have your email address. But Aisha, if you want me just to send it to you, I can do that. And then you can forward it.
Yeah, I think that'll be easier. It'll be easier if I get all the information, I can forward it and itemize it to everyone, and then they can then create their own login and sign up as well.
Right. Lindsay, let me know if you want something different, if you want emails in a different way.
Yep, that sounds good.
Okay, so that's the summary of the program. We're open to questions. If anybody has any questions, we're here to help.
I'm curious if anyone's volunteered before here with Hunger Free America. I believe I've done a couple things through various alumni association groups. I went to a school across town, and for the East Coasters, they may not get that joke, but I've done some volunteering work in that capacity with Hunger Free America. Yes, Shigeko, you want to unmute?
Yes, I noticed there was no opportunities listed for LA. Are there some in Los Angeles on the west side?
We have the Los Angeles Food Bank. We have 2 opportunities with them. Forgive me, I don't know the addresses directly. I'm not sure if that's the same area that you're looking for.
So, are you partnering with LA Food Bank, or is that just the West Coast representation of Hunger Free America? Are there subcategories?
No, that's Los Angeles Food Bank.
Okay.
Directly. Yeah, they have a couple direct in-person opportunities available.
So for those who are doing more of like the digital support, like the database and analysis, how does that work? It's a remote volunteer effort. They're given list and call, and how does that?
Right. So for the database one that's through Hunger for America, we do it as a group once a month. And then we have individuals that are doing that on their own. And what it is you have a link to a portal basically where you're signing in, and then you get the organization's name and number, and you'll get that survey that you're filling out. You have all that pops up in that link. And you just work on it independently. And you'll have an account with us so that we are aware of what you're doing, and we know that you're there and you're one of our volunteers. And also, if people are working independently and they have a question, there's an email that they can send an email to and ask their questions to. And then with nonprofit organizations that have remote work, we've had people that have done some, maybe they've never written a grant before, but they've done research. And so they feel comfortable with the research piece. So they'll do research for that organization, just provide them with whatever they need. Sometimes that's, obviously that's not going to be an ongoing, maybe it's a certain project that they're working on for them. Or, we've had people that are supporting nonprofits in accounting, marketing types of things, volunteer coordinating. So it's been in our experience is that, if there's something that interests you, when you talk to the nonprofit and they learn more about you, you learn more about them. Oftentimes it won't be just one type of opportunity. They might realize, oh, you could, help in a certain other area. Maybe it's a, short-term project based or something like that. So it's been very exciting to see those matches made and the support that the nonprofits get.
Any additional questions? Has anyone in the past done work with food insecurity, or what other civic engagement? I'm curious of people done in the past. I personally go to the LA Mission down on Skid Row. I'm also involved in the Skid Row Running Club. So I'm curious, I don't want to call a name. So if anyone can volunteer their information as to what they've done in the past with either a food-based insecure program or any other volunteer type of activity, just to see where everyone is.
Well, I personally have been involved with the LA Regional Food Bank. Through the UCLA School of Law, we have every year a food from the bar competition that we do with local law schools and law firms, and we do volunteer opportunities where people go down and work at the food bank itself, as well as donating money. I haven't done that since before pandemic. So food packing there can be kind of arduous. So if you're not very strong, it can be tough, but it's also very rewarding, and they give you breaks. So that's
yes. Yes, and our understanding is they also need, during that time, they need somebody that, feels comfortable kind of handling a group, managing a group, directing people. And then you also do get on that line. I've been told, and also do that work, but I think they're very accommodating as well. So
yeah.
and the need for volunteers has increased, because of the pandemic. A lot of organizations had to shut down or change how they were working things. And then they lost a lot of volunteers because a lot of volunteers are 55 and older. And, because of that age, they weren't able to volunteer in the very beginning of the pandemic. So we're just building that volunteer support back up for nonprofits. So it is very important.
I actually worked for the LA Food Bank. I went there to help pack the boxes, and I actually got COVID there. So
no.
that's when I stopped.
Yeah, I understand. Sorry to hear that. Yeah.
And I have a question for Lindsay and you all. Have you been in touch with anyone from Alumni Association or anything like that? Because we have a yearly Bruin Volunteer Day on campus, and I'm not quite sure. It's mostly through students or the Alumni Association that's done through, but it's a big volunteer September type thing. I think it's in September, Bruin Day. So I'm curious if you've done any sort of communications with other entities.
Yeah, we haven't specifically with any alumni groups. This project that we've been working on has been focused on the 55 plus. So we've been doing a lot of outreach to other retiree associations of other various universities around the country. But we're always open, and as we transition sort of out of this focus, we are always looking for other partners and connections to places that encourage volunteerism. So we'd definitely be interested in connecting with that if you have a contact there.
Yeah, I work with the Alumni Association. There's something called the Second Act, and some of our guests here may be familiar with that. The Second Act is geared towards alumni 55 plus. So I put that information in the chat. And I did a program with them in the past, but it's for volunteer opportunities because Bruins are worldwide and of different generations, and they love giving back to the community. So reach out to me and I can connect you with the woman that I know that does the over 50 alumni stuff as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
So any other comments or questions about volunteering? I don't want to take over the Zoom, but if you have questions or need some more direction as to how to support Hunger Free America, I want people to be able to get those questions answered here.
Yeah.
I will defer to you all if we want to have the Zoom short, and then you'll send me the resources and I can share it with our population. I would love to do something on campus if we could figure out the details of how to do that. I don't know if you have branding we could have, or something where we could have like a food bin where people can drop off non-perishables, or things that we could do on campus where people can feel supported. And we also have a food closet that is also geared towards staff and faculty and students who are food insecure. So I want to be able to have those things in our office to help support this important cause.
Yeah, that'd be great. So Lindsay, I'll let you follow up with Aisha on that, and I will follow up with you on the resources that we talked about today, and just so how people can get to that portal and get connected. And obviously the recording too, so that you can share that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put it on my YouTube channel. And I've never thought I would say those words. During the pandemic, as you might imagine, we had to pivot a lot of our things to Zoom, and people were just like, is there a way to watch this later? So here we are now. We created a YouTube channel. We post all of our recordings there from Zoom. It's a lot. I respect influencers a lot more than I used to. It's a process, and I don't even add extra stuff. I just literally post the video, turn off the comments. But it's definitely it's a full-time job to YouTube things. So this will be available to share with your colleagues and your friends and family if they also want to volunteer. I would love to do an in-person volunteer day somehow, somewhere in the fall, to kind of get our folks back on campus to do things. So let's definitely stay in touch. Thank you all for sharing your experiences and volunteering. Do you all want to say the other 3 words?
Just thank you everybody for joining us, and we looking forward to partner with everybody.
Great.
All right. Great. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.